What is going on, everybody? Welcome to a special edition of the podcast. We'll be having an interview with former WWE Superstar JTG later in the fine program. Of course, I am Andrew Ravens of Wrestling News Co. and eWrestlingNews.com. I'm joined by my co-host, as always, John of Wrestling Inc. and Give Me Sport. John, are you ready for a fine edition of this podcast?
I'm ready, man. I'm ready. Let's do it.
Let's just jump on in. Now, I should warn the fine viewers of this fine program that these are going to be a little bit out of order. Anyway, I think one of the biggest news stories to come out this month, at least, just because it impacts WWE's plans going forward and how they book things, is Braun Strowman's injury. They wrote him off of TV and overplayed his injury, a shattered elbow and all this stuff. And in all reality, it was just a minor injury. It was a no big deal. They said that he could be out until 6 months. In all reality, he's expected to be back in mid-June and wrestle at SummerSlam. And he's rumored to wrestle Brock Lesnar at that event. We'll see then. And I will say this before I ask you on your opinion of this. Strowman was a character that caught fire as of late on WWE television. They slowly built him up, which I am completely fine with. But I miss him on Raw. That is a 3-hour torture show. And without Strowman, attacking Roman Reigns or screaming, "I'm not done with you," it's just, I miss Braun Strowman.
Yeah, I mean, you know how big of a Strowman fan I am. We've talked about it before. I miss him on Monday nights too. I mean, one thing you always had to look forward to is him inevitably squashing someone like Kalisto or him attacking Roman Reigns and them going at it. And it's just been, you've been missing that big heel factor on Monday nights. Samoa Joe's great, Bray Wyatt's great, but they don't bring that element of, monstrosity to the show when you have, like you have with Braun Strowman or like you have with Brock Lesnar. Those are truly one-of-a-kind characters that you don't find every day. So I do have high expectations for Braun Strowman going forward. I think he's doing great right now. I think a lot of people are behind him, especially just because they hate Roman Reigns. But I just think he's a great heel overall, and I can't wait to see him back, man. It's Raw has, I think, really been suffering without him, but I think guys like Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, Bray Wyatt, they've really picked up a lot of that slack, and all credit to him for it.
So switching gears to TNA, Impact Wrestling, Global Force Wrestling. They still have Blue Rope, so I assume it's Impact Wrestling. We don't talk about them very much on this fine program, but we will on this one. Matt Hardy's contract and his trademark to the Broken Verse, all that information, or at least part of it, came out yesterday from Impact Wrestling's president. He emailed the wrestling media with part of the contract to try to downplay some of the rumors and reports that are going on. It was originally reported and believed that WWE was interested in using the Broken Universe character, or gimmick, rather, with both Matt and Jeff. However, according to this email, that's not the case. My question to you, John, is this. With WWE downplaying their interest in the gimmick, should fans kind of lower their expectations in hopes that we will see the Broken Universe in WWE?
I wouldn't say lower your expectations that we would see it. I think you should lower your expectations of what you're actually going to see. I think Dave Meltzer said it best, which is the WWE is interested in the gimmick. They're just not interested in helping get the rights to the gimmick. If Matt can get those on his own, awesome. If not, they're fine. They're perfectly fine, just keeping on with what they're doing right now. But as far as if the gimmick were to ever come here, there's been stories that, TNA has trademarked certain, lingo and whatnot from the Broken Universe, whatever. And Matt has also trademarked, I think he trademarked Broken Matt, just Broken Matt. So, something like that. But there's certain things that TNA owns. There's certain things that Matt is trying to own. But if the gimmick were ever purchased or the rights were ever obtained by the WWE, I think it's going to be significantly altered. I think we're going to see a lot of things dumbed down. You're not going to see the same terms that you saw in TNA or on the indies. And that might disappoint fans a little bit and turn them off to the gimmick, just because you're not getting the full characters out of these guys. You're not getting the full experience out of what they're doing. So it's kind of a bit of a turnoff. So if it were to come to WWE, which I think it will, I think it's going to be a lot less of what you're used to seeing. And it's probably going to be a quick turnoff. You'll probably maybe have a solid month of it being over. And then I think people are just going to get used to it and tired of it. So at that point, I think they just break Matt and Jeff up and give them single runs at that point. But I don't know, man. This whole situation's crazy. You have Matt, Rebby Hardy, Ed Nordum going at each other on Twitter. This whole thing's insane. So I just want to see the end result already.
Yeah, I mean, I can see Jeff being Jeff Hardy and going into more of a singles career, maybe going after the WWE title again. I would like to see him on SmackDown. I think that would be really cool. I mean, his previous run in WB, he was in the title picture. He was WB champion. So I would like to see that again. I think them being a tag team, we've seen it. They've done it. Let's move on. And I think Matt coming back with this Broken Universe that really made Impact not, I guess relevant is the correct term to use it. When he was in Impact, when he was using that character, that's what everyone talked about Impact. I mean, yes, you have your EC3s and other guys, but for the most part, the Hardys and Matt Hardy and everything that they were doing with Final Deletion and everything like that, that is what people wanted to see out of Impact. And I think it'll be fun to see it in WB. I don't know how far Vince McMahon will allow Matt to go creatively with that character. It'll be, kind of remain to see, just to see how they do that. But if it's anything close to what he did in Impact or Ring of Honor or on the indie scenes, I think it'll be a lot of fun. Probably the most shocking thing to happen over the weekend is Jinder Mahal winning the WWE Championship. Oh, good God, ladies and gentlemen, what have we come? I want to know what Vince McMahon is doing here. I mean, he's known as a creative genius. I have faith in him. Lord, give him faith. But why? I mean, I get they're trying to create new stars, and I get that pretty much the main reason that they're pushing this guy is because they're trying to launch in India. Yes, they're in there, and they're very, very popular in India, but they need that more exposure with their content. I mean, whenever they do live events, it's always successful. It's just the content. That's what they need. And with Mahal being on there and him cutting the promos and his language that they speak down there, which I don't know, and I'm not going to even speculate. I'm just a good old boy in Oklahoma. But Jinder Mahal defeating Randy Orton at the Backlash pay-per-view event, I was shocked by it, but I thought it was comical, and seeing all the people's reaction online was hilarious.
And I think what was even more funny, seeing the people's reaction live at the event. I mean, the camera, on the WWE Network, seeing all the different reactions and how everyone was just like so upset that Jinder Mahal had won. I'll be the first to say I enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing the title on a new face. I enjoy Jinder's work as of late. He may not be the most exciting guy in the ring, but overall, I think he has a decent look. I think he plays a great heel. I think he, he's pretty good on the mic, and he has a lot of people by the throat as it pertains to the anti-America kind of thing that he has going on there, and being feeling judged by everybody and all this, trying to paint himself as the victim while still being the heel. I enjoy it. I really do. And I saw that celebration he had on SmackDown. I believe the language you were referring to that they speak over there, him in particular. I don't know what everyone speaks over there, but him in particular, he always speaks. I believe it's called Punjab or something like that. But I like what he has going on right now with him and the Singh brothers. That's one thing I don't know what the hell they're called. The Singh brothers. I'm going to call them the Singh brothers. That's what the commentators call them. But I like what he has going on with them. I like how he won the title with Randy getting distracted with the Singh brothers at ringside. He just comes up from behind, hits him with whatever his finisher is called. 3 count, done. I like it. And it's a lot of heat. That's always a good thing. So I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed it. I enjoy seeing the title on a new face. Do I think this is going to last very long? No, I do not. As soon as they're done getting whatever they want to get done in India, for India, whatever the case may be, I think they're going to take the title off of him. I don't expect him to stay in the main event, picture very long. But, we'll see what happens. But as far as what Vince McMahon's doing, I think this is strictly a business move at this point. And, we know a lot of people turn off to the WWE around summertime. So maybe he's just using this as a perfect time to capitalize on the Indian market. Once we're back on track, that title's probably going to go back on Orton, AJ Styles. Maybe Shinsuke Nakamura gets a title run. Who knows? But I think we're going to slowly move away from Jinder, and you're going to slowly see him kind of get bumped down to the Intercontinental title, then back to mid-card, then back to pre-show, and then, he may get released again and they have nothing for him. Who knows? But I really do not expect this to last long. But I hope it does, because I like seeing a new face in the main picture.
Did you Google the language that the people in India speak?
No, because every time he speaks, right before he says, "I will address my people in the language of Punjab," or something like that. He always says that right before he talks. Okay.
Switching gears after we had that history lesson there from young John. 5-way, Extreme Rules, #1 contendership. It's on the line. Whoever wins this match is going to get destroyed by Brock Lesnar. They're going to go to Suplex City. They'll probably have a lot of bruises, and it's going to be, it's not going to be fun, man. It's been reported that sometime this year, Seth Rollins and Finn Balor will face Lesnar. That may give an indication as to who will win the match. If I had to give my take on it, and it's our podcast, so I am, but I would say that Balor wins it because of the promo he did with Heyman on Monday's edition of Raw. I see him doing that. He goes and faces at Lesnar at the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view. Someone in WWE Creative is a Jerry Lee Lewis fan right there. Very creative from the creative guy, but I digress. Hashtag it, folks. What is your take on this fine match? Who's someone you're eye on? Who you think's going to win it? Who's going to go get destroyed by Brock Lesnar?
I tend to agree with you. I think Finn's probably going to walk away from this one as the winner. Do I enjoy that? Yes and no. I'm a big Finn Balor guy. I think he's going to be, the guy moving forward. I think he has all that potential to be. He's very exciting. He's good on the mic. Great worker. And I think Paul Heyman said it best. He's probably the best in-ring performer on the WWE's roster today. But I just don't want to see that little guy get in there with Brock Lesnar and get taken to Suplex City. You saw what Jinder did to him with that forearm. Imagine what an ex-UFC champion is going to do to him, throwing him around the ring, just nailing him with suplexes the entire match. I don't really see... I see this being a huge squash match if it's going to be Finn and Brock. I don't expect Roman to win at all, because I expect them to hold that match off for WrestleMania next year. They're just probably going to build up to that the entire year. I could see Seth winning. I really just can't give any chance whatsoever to Samoa Joe or Bray, especially Bray, just seeing how he tends to just not get any big wins ever. But I like you said, Finn and Seth would probably be my leading candidates based off of what I saw on Monday. I would have to say Finn is the favorite right now. He obviously has the crowds behind him every week. Everyone's pushing for him. Everyone loves him. So I would say it's Finn. I just kind of hope it's not, because I don't want him to get hurt again. And Brock really doesn't let up in the ring. Obviously he puts everything he has into those suplexes. So I would expect Finn Balor to win this one.
Yeah, I think that's most likely. And speaking of multiple person matches, which makes so much fun for play-by-play for me, Shane McMahon announced on this week's episode of SmackDown Live would be, which I thought was pretty obvious, but hey, they got to do something, that there would be a Money in the Bank ladder match at the upcoming Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And there were several guys that was announced off the top of my head. I won't even do that. I won't embarrass myself. Anyway, so many multiple person matches. It's hard to keep up with everything. And then they also announced the WWE Championship match. Randy Orton will get his rematch against Jinder Mahal for the title, and that should headline that pay-per-view. I'm not very surprised by the championship being announced. The only thing that I thought was a little odd is that WWE announced, I think it was yesterday, it could have been on Monday, that on the June 13th episode of SmackDown, Mahal would defend the title against Orton on that show, and there was like other title matches I think announced, or two other matches. But I thought it was odd that they would not only announce that so far in advance, because creative changes all the time, but that they're going to do that match I think 2 weeks before the pay-per-view. I mean, obviously, we're not going to get a clean finish. It'll be some kind of flub finish, but it's a little bit odd. How is your interest in the rematch between Mahal and Orton?
I'm pretty interested because, like I said earlier, I don't know how long to expect this title reign to last. It really all depends on what the WWE wants to do in India, what they want from India, and after they do that, then they'll take the belt off of him. But if I had to predict right now, I think Mahal retains, just because I can't really see anything that has come out of Mahal winning just yet. Granted, we're 4, not even 5 days into his title reign, so I would at this point anticipate that he retains the title, just because I don't think Orton is going to get another world title reign anytime soon. I would think when the title does go back onto somebody, it'll either be a returning John Cena, because Jinder has talked about that a lot in past interviews, that he'd like to face John Cena, and I cannot imagine John Cena not winning the belt from Jinder if that match does happen. John Cena, I would expect an AJ Styles title reign to come around again. I could see Baron Corbin maybe getting in the mix. They've been grooming him for some time now. Shinsuke is a dark horse as well. Or Shinsuke, sorry. But, yeah, if I had to predict right now, I'd probably say that Mahal retains. But again, it's a tricky situation, because really this whole title reign is based off of, what they want out of the Indian market. And I just feel so bad saying that, because you see in all these interviews Mahal saying that his hard work has paid off and all that. I mean, I don't know if he truly does believe it's because of all the hard work he's put in, or it's just right place, right time kind of thing. But that's kind of what I, pertain it to be, right place, right time, right guy. And it just kind of fell into his lap right there. But not to say he doesn't work hard. I don't know what the guy does outside of the ring, but it's a crazy situation. I honestly have never seen anything like this before. So we'll see what happens with it. But I expect Mahal to retain.
Hard work does pay off, and eating protein, no McDonald's, it pays off too. To end our list of topics here before we get to the good interview with JTG, CM Punk, he's back? He is back. Ha! I don't think he's back. But 5 Star Wrestling overseas offered him a deal to compete in their tournament that's coming up. $1 million. Do you know how many boots I could buy with $1 million? I digress. I don't see this happening, John. I don't. I mean, Punk has talked about it in the past that he's willing to wrestle again, even though that's probably not likely, but he's at least open to it, yet it won't be in WB. He's made it very, very clear just to do, with all of everything that surrounded his departure from WB. I don't see it happening. Do you have hope?
No way this promotion has $1 million to give CM Punk. No way whatsoever.
Don't doubt.
No way whatsoever. I
don't doubt.
I don't expect it to happen. I don't expect CM Punk to return to wrestling anytime soon. Do I think he will return one day? Yes, I do. Do I think he'll return to WWE one day? Yes, I do. Vince, regardless of vendettas and all that stuff, at the end of the day, I think he always does what's, the motto, best for business. But one day I do expect to see CM Punk come back, whether it's one more match, whether it's one more run, after his UFC, career is done. Who's to say it's not already, but who knows. But after his fighting career is done, I do expect him to get the itch just to come back, maybe one more title reign, one more match at WrestleMania, get his headline that he never got. I do expect to see him back in the WWE one day. I really do. So I don't think he's going to return for this match. I don't think the promotion has the money to pay him for that. But yeah, no way. Anytime soon, I don't expect to see him in a ring.
Look, I don't know the financial situation that 5 Star Wrestling has. I have spoke with the owner before. Very good dude. And hey, you never know. Punk, he might accept it. Hopefully he does. I think it'd be a cool spectacle to see. Anyway, we welcome former WWE Superstar JTG to this fine program. And JTG, just to start things off, did you grow up as a pro wrestling fan? And if so, who were some of your inspirations?
Yo, it's your boy JTG, and to answer your question, yes, I grew up a wrestling fan. Both my parents were wrestling fans. My parents used to go to Madison Square Garden every month. The WWF used to run there every month, and my parents were there religiously, and I grew up on it. I wanted to be a professional wrestler since the age of 2.
How'd you get your start in the business?
As I started in the business, I started in the business through OVW in Louisville, Kentucky. That was the hot spot. That was the developmental territory, and a lot of guys were being signed there. I found out a lot of great talent such as Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton, Shelton Benjamin, Rene Dupree. A lot of talent came through there, and I definitely wanted to be where the hot spot was at. So I got myself there. I was there for 4 years before I got signed or even got looked at by the WWE.
How'd you meet Shad, and who parted y'all together?
Okay, so with Shad and I, everything was a coincidence. We both happened just to be from Brooklyn, and we just happened to be a great tag team. But I was originally tagged with Abraham Washington. I don't know if you guys remember Abraham Washington. Him and I did the gimmick together. We weren't really stealing. We just had the look of Crime Time, but we were just pretty much one dimensional. And he had some personal issues that he needed to take care of. So I was on my own solo, and Paul Heyman decided to put Shad and I together after he had a storyline with CM Punk that just finished up. And then Paul Heyman put Shad and I together, and we were an instant hit on local television down there in Louisville, Kentucky.
One thing I'm interested in is the Crime Time gimmick itself. Who came up with that concept? Was it you, or was someone? Were you given that by somebody? Who came up with that?
It kind of came up organically. Like when we were down in OVW, not Paul Heyman, Al Snow. He said, "You guys are over, and you guys are heels. You guys are over, but you can't wrestle every week. We're running out of opponents for you guys, and you could do other things to get yourself over than winning a match every week and being a champion." So he said, "Why don't you guys go out there and do some vignettes or think of a promo, do something unique, get yourselves over." And Shad and I decided to do some training videos, some vignettes. And we got the cameraman, and we went and shot different stuff in different areas, and we just had fun with it. And then we heard that Vince McMahon got whiff of it, and he was very entertained by the videos, and he signed me because I wasn't signed at the time. Shad was signed. He signed me just off for those videos.
And obviously, you know, Shad is a huge part in your career, and I'm sure you and him have developed an extremely close relationship, you know, traveling all over the country and all over the world, you know, wrestling together. What are some of your best memories with him, whether it's on the road, in the ring, backstage? What are some of the best memories that you've had with him?
Oh, I have a lot of great memories with Shad. I don't know if I could narrow it down to just one, but you know, he helped me out a lot when I was coming up through OVW, because it was very difficult. You know, a lot of the talent there, they were getting paid to be there. Me, on the other hand, you know, I took the Greyhound bus to get to Louisville. I stayed in a motel, and I had to get a job. I had various jobs there in Louisville, Kentucky, and I had to go to training. I had to work out. So it was very overwhelming, but the passion got me through it. And Shad, you know, he saw that I was hungry and determined. You know, he helped me get my first apartment. He gave me his ID because I wasn't 21 yet, and he worked at the bars and stuff. So he gave me his Atlanta ID, and I was able to get into the clubs get into the clubs. He helped me out a lot when I was coming through, going through the developmental territory. So we were kind of a duo before the tag team.
And you guys had, you know, a lot of initial success in the WWE, your first run. You know, you were very over as a tag team. But what led to you and Shad's first WWE release, the first time you guys were released? That, you know, a lot of people like to note that, you know, whole Kate and Murdoch incident that went down. But is that all, or is there more to it than that?
No, I think that was I talked about it a lot in my book. It was pretty much the heat that we had with Kate and Murdoch. They played a big factor in it. And also with John Cena, we had Shad got into altercation with John Cena that I talked about in my first book, and it was just a sequence of negative interactions. It was just a train wreck.
And once you returned to the WWE, looking back on it, how do you feel about your singles run?
My singles run, I don't like to have regrets. You know, I did some things that I could have done different, things I wish I didn't listen. Some things I wish I didn't listen and apply. Some things I wish I did listen to and apply. But you can always look back in retrospect and say I wish I did that. But everything was a learning experience, and everything happened for a reason. But my singles run, it could have went a lot better. I had all the components. You know, I had the charisma, I had the look, I had the talent, I had the unique. The unique style in the ring. You know, I was told that, you know, Vince McMahon was a big fan of me. He told me that I was very charismatic, and you know, that's going to get me far. But you know, I also had to play the game, which I talked about in my second.
Now, do you prefer working as a singles competitor or more in a tag team?
Well, when I get asked that question a lot, and I look back at my career, I had a lot of fun working as a tag team. Like doing the Crime Time gimmick was a lot of fun on camera. And it's less work because when you get tired, you get to tag out. But everybody wants that singles career. Everybody wants that spotlight on them. You know, it's kind of, I'll say my tag team career.
And what led to your second release from WB?
I was home for a couple of months. I was home for 9 months, and what I was told was creative has nothing for you at the moment. You know, they give that speech to everyone.
Yeah. And then, you know, since then you've been doing a lot of work on the indies. What has that been like the dramatic change, I'm sure, from working in the WWE where you're traveling all the time and to the indies where you can pretty much make up your own schedule, decide what jobs you want to take, whatnot. But what has that been like for you?
I kind of like the independent. If I could work every weekend doing the independent, I think I like it. I get to pick which town. You know, I got some shows coming up. Like I'm going to Dominican Republic to wrestle. That's great. I get to pick my own price. Yeah, as long as I can stay busy doing what I love to do, I'm happy. the contracts kind of make it very difficult because you can't do much. And plus, I could also audition and do a lot of acting out here since I live in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and opposite WWE, of course, you got TNA, who's they're probably the next biggest thing when it comes to the professional wrestling in the industry right there, where it's, mainstream and whatnot. But have you been contacted by TNA to do some work for them, and are you interested in working for them?
I heard some rumors that they were interested in Shad and I, and if they contact me, I'll if the money's right, definitely, I wouldn't mind going over to TNA. But before I became a professional wrestler, I told myself, I didn't just want to be a professional wrestler. I wanted to be a WWE superstar. Like, there's a big difference. But if that money, if they're talking that right money, and then of course I can't turn down good money. Remember, my gimmick is money, yeah.
Of course. And do you still keep up with the WWE product since you've left?
Not religiously. I catch a lot of it, majority of it on social media, and I watch all the big events like WrestleMania, the Royal Rumble, maybe SummerSlam if there's one or two main events that I might want to catch.
Yeah, so during your run in the WWE, you were around the time that the Undertaker was pretty much, I think, safe to say, the leader of the locker room. What were your thoughts on seeing him retire at WrestleMania 33 this past month? He lost to Roman Reigns, and it seems like that's going to be it for him, just given the way he ended the match. So, just having, worked around him before, what were your thoughts seeing that?
I don't know if that's his last match, but I enjoyed the match between him and Roman Reigns. I actually thought, I didn't know what direction it was going to go in. As being a talent, being a performer, and not knowing what direction that the match is going to go, and you get emotionally invested in it, it's always going to be it's a good match, and I personally enjoyed it. But I don't think that's his last match. I think he got one more, just one more. I think one more in him.
Obviously.
But I personally don't think Roman Reigns should be his final opponent.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, growing up, seeing him as a fan, you hope that's not the last one. But like I mentioned before, you worked there around the same time he did. Do you have any good, stories from him backstage, or just memories with him backstage?
With Undertaker, that you got me on the spot. I got a few, but I'm trying to think right now. No, not that I can think of right now. But he was always he was a locker room leader. Oh yeah, there's one at SummerSlam in Los Angeles. So you might have heard this if you watch Dave Chappelle. That what's his name? That Prince. He has like an aura, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The same thing with Undertaker. I was at SummerSlam, and I was me and Beth Phoenix were sitting next to each other, and we kind of just looked at each other. It was weird. There was no communication. We just looked at each other. We felt something, and then we looked around, and we saw the Undertaker. And then we was like, "Oh shit, did you feel that?" I was like, "Yeah." It's like he had some type of aura about him. It was like, "Yeah, kind of like Prince." And she was like, "Yeah, exactly like the Prince episode." I was like, "I didn't know that was real. I thought it was bullshit." But yeah, it was like he has some. I don't know if he meditated before he does his match, but you definitely felt his presence without even knowing that he was there, and that's real.
Nice. You were talking about money earlier. How much different is the money between WB and the indie circuit? Because you hear different things from different guys.
Oh, it was a big difference, especially, I mean, WWE, you're guaranteed, you don't wrestle, you're guaranteed. And then there's also royalties, there's merch. I don't know how things are right now with the WWE network. I don't know how that affects the talent's pay, but with WWE, you're guaranteed. The indie circuit is kind of funny. Promoters might not pay you. They might, we were short. We were expecting this much people. And it's like, there's always, so you don't know the turnout.
A couple weeks ago, the hashtag dive situation happened on Twitter, most notably between Randy Orton and Bully Ray. What's your take on that?
I definitely think there's too many dives and also too many damn super kicks. I didn't even watch the pay-per-view, but I watched the highlights from the pay-per-view, and I'm going through the pay-per-views. I'm like, damn, there's a super kick. There's another super kick. Super kick. I'm like, Jesus Christ, well, how many super kicks? Like, I remember when Shawn Michaels did it, it meant something. It's like, now it's like, it's just a ready move. It's like, if let's say Shawn Michaels wanted to come back and do one more match. What he's going to have to throw like 4 super kicks. to make it mean something.
Speaking of WWE pay-per-views, Jinder Mahal won the WWE.
That was actually inspiring because me and him got released at the same time, and then to see him come back, repound, that definitely gave some type of hope. I don't know if it was wishful thinking. I don't know if I'll go back and become champion, but that they gave him an opportunity, and he's running with it. And I'm happy to see that he got the ball, and I just want to see him run with it.
Earlier when I was asking about the Undertaker, we touched on Roman Reigns. How he not sure that should be the Undertaker's last match. What are your thoughts overall on just how he's been, Roman Reigns, how he's been perceived by the WWE Universe? Because he is just absolutely showered with hate whenever he comes out. What are your thoughts on that and all the heat that he's been getting?
I haven't been really following the product. I thought that he was a fan favorite. I know he was getting booed. At some point, but I thought that changed. I didn't know he was still getting booed.
Oh yeah, man, they are booing him out the building.
Oh, that sucks. Why don't he just turn him heel?
That's a lot of what people say, but then in interviews, like I think Triple H was the one who said it. If they're already booing him so much and so significantly, doesn't that already make him a heel? I'm not sure if I agree with that, but I mean, he kind of has a point either way.
Yeah. I wish Roman Reigns the best of luck. I wish he would take that vest off though. That's my only complaint.
Yeah, the vest.
It's like everybody from the Shield has changed their look, and he still wish it looking like he wants to come back. Shield come back.
We talked about the WWE or runs with them. Would you like to return to the WWE? Have they contacted you about a return? And if so, are you even open to it?
No, they haven't contacted Shad and I. I'm open to it. Like I said about that money. It's got to be about that money. Before I was a fan and I was hungry to get in. Now I'm thinking more of a businessman. It has to be financially beneficial to me and especially my time. So yeah, I'm open to it.
And then one thing also I'd like to ask. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's just in case anybody's listening from WWE.
I know you've talked about it before, but I'd just like to get your take on it once more. One thing that we've been hearing a lot about lately is the issues between, JBL and Mauro Ranallo. What are your thoughts on JBL being perceived as a bully? Have you experienced anything like that before? What have your interactions with him been like?
I could see why people perceive him as a bully. He wasn't a bully to me. He actually tried to help me on a few occasions, pull me to the side and give me some advice. But I have seen him be a bully to other people, yes.
And do you think people just take what he says the wrong way, or is he legitimately really strong on the way he comes off?
Oh yeah, he's very strong the way he comes off. Yeah, I can't sugarcoat that. What in particular have you seen him do backstage that has just where you can be okay? Yeah, that's probably not the best thing to do. Well, I can't remember verbatim, but when he has his headset on something, if he's trying to make a point across, he's very aggressive about the way he expresses it.
Yeah. Okay.
Even if he's wrong, he's gonna make sure that he's right.
All right. Well, JTG, I really appreciate your time. Is there anything that you want to plug or promote before we get out of here?
Oh, definitely. I want to, for those who are listening, definitely follow me on Twitter, JTG1284. Also on Instagram, JTG121084. And definitely get the books. If you're looking to get into the wrestling business, if you're a wrestling fan, even if you're not a fan of JTG, you want to get this book. The first week it dropped, it was considered a cult classic. The way that I tell my stories is very unorthodox, and I tell it in a comedic fashion. A lot of wrestlers come off very bitter, but my book is what not to do in the wrestling business.
Do we have another book planned on another one on the way, or are we going to hold off on that for a little bit?
I did 2 books. I didn't even want to do a second one, but some of the stories in the first book, I left out on purpose. I wind up putting in the second book, and it might be a third. We'll see. Maybe if I get that call back and when I'm released again, maybe, I don't know.
And you touched on acting earlier. You're staying in LA. Any projects you're working on? Anything you're eyeing? Any big roles or interviews you got coming up for anything like that?
Oh, I did something with Kevin Hart's Heartbeat Productions. He has a new subscription channel coming out. I did an episode to a show called I forgot the name of it. What is it? I forgot the name of it. Sorry, you can follow me on Twitter. I'll keep you guys updated. I did something with Taco Bell with Dolph Ziggler's brother Ryan Nemeth. That was fun. And I'm also doing another project with Ryan coming up soon, and got a few more projects coming up.
All right, man. Well, we love to hear it, and like you said before, follow him on Twitter. Make sure to keep up with what he's doing. JTG, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Best of luck in everything you got coming up, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.